And joining me right now to talk about all of this is the Undersecretary of the United States Army, Ryan McCarthy. Secretary, it's great to have you on this program.
Maria, thanks for having me.
It is an honor to have you. Thank you for your great service in our wonderful U.S. Army.
Thank you.
Let's talk about the budget. Here we have a $22 trillion debt that we're all talking about and calls to pull it back. And yet the president proposes adding more to the defense side of the budget. You're here on the front lines. You're going to talk to us about where the priorities are. Can you do that?
Absolutely. Maria, the world is a very complex and dangerous place. The U.S. Army has been in sustained combat operations for 17 years. And all the while, other nations around the world have studied our operating capabilities, our weapon systems, and have made vast investments, both economically and militarily, to counter these capabilities. So the reflection of the overall DoD top line as well as the U.S. Army budget, it is aggressive, it is substantial. We're very grateful for the FY 18-19 deal that we got, but we have to keep going to rebalance the institution and to be able to pursue national objectives worldwide.
Now, one of the priorities is rebuilding readiness, right? Tell me about that, as well as strengthening alliances and partnerships and improving performance and affordability through reform. How are you doing that? Tell us where you see this money being allocated.
So readiness is a term that we use pretty liberally. Readiness is just like a professional athlete getting thousands of repetitions the summer before an NFL season or an NBA season taking free throw shots. So our soldiers have to be ready. That means when you have over 60% of the requirements worldwide to support national objectives militarily is filled by the U.S. Army. So readiness will always be our #1 priority, and over half of our budget is personnel and operating and maintenance. So we have to do what we must to have our people as ready as they can be. The rest of the investments are on modernization. Our modernization budget is going to be very aggressive, but we have signaled that with FY 18 and 19 by realigning billions of dollars of our S&T portfolio, about 80% against 6 signature priorities: long-range precision fires, next-generation combat vehicles, future vertical helicopters, our networks, our integrated air missile defenses and soldier lethality, ballistic helmets, machine guns, things like that. So these substantial moves were necessary because most of our systems are old, over 40 years old in most cases for our signature weapon systems and our formations. So we have to make these choices to move forward.
And the modernization that you're in the middle of or efforting has a command, new command, Army Futures Command. Tell me about that. How does that help the modernization?
So along with the moves of investments, we had to look at ourselves and how we do business. And what the Army recognized was that it was disparate. The people involved with the decisions, whether the requirement, how fast is the weapon system, or the range or the capabilities necessary. That's the customer, or the warfighters. And then we have the experimentation, we have acquisition. They were spread across this million-person organization. So what we needed to do was bring it all under one roof. So we went through a restructuring, one most complex that we've done since 1973, and developed a 4-star command that became the bridge to academia and business to get us back to the entrepreneurial spirit of the country, where we've developed some of the finest systems that our warfighters have ever used in the history of the Department of Defense. Yeah. And we headquartered in Austin, Texas. It's a 4-star headquarters. They operate in civilian clothes. They have a footprint in an accelerator hub on the campuses of University of Texas at Austin, and the 4-star commander's building is in the University of Texas system.
And while you've done that to try to centralize things, you've also been making real cuts in the Army, right? Up against lots of priorities to spend less money.
So we wanted to show 2 things in this budget, was really fiscal discipline. So look at every program. It was a zero-based budget approach. The Army leadership, Secretary Esper, General Milley, our Chief of Staff, Vice Chief General McConville, and I brought in our major commanders, all our 4-star generals, and select what we call staff codes. So it was a principles-only exercise. And, of course, the Army staff has a sense of humor. They called it night court. And so we sat there for about 70-plus hours, principles only. Everybody had to do their own homework and then propose their budget submittals. And over time, we would look at how it laid in against the priorities. And if you couldn't defend in that room, they slapped the table, and we'd either take the money or finance those efforts. It was very, very, very aggressive, long, hot summer, but we made some very complex choices. realigning over $31 billion across the 5-year Futures Defense Plan. So in the Department of Defense, we're really big. We do it over a 5-year horizon. So the moves that are made, because you have to develop most of the weapon systems and scale it to an institution of over 1 million people.
Mm-hmm. All of this while some of the threats out there are trying hard to keep up or even beat the U.S. military. I understand that China, for example, has more Navy ships than the U.S. has Navy ships. A major concern for the U.S. government has been Huawei. And the telecom, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo was here a few weeks ago. Listen to what he had to say. Europe is pushing back on this idea that President Trump and your administration wants to ban or potentially slow down the use of Huawei technology. Is that what you found in Europe?
We've been out around the world just making sure everybody had the same information, that countries understand the risk of putting this Huawei technology into their IT systems. We can't forget these systems were designed by with the express work alongside the Chinese PLA, their military in China. They are creating real risk for these countries and their systems, the security of their people. If a country adopts this and puts it in some of their critical information systems, we won't be able to share information with them.
We talk a lot about the economic warfare going on between the U.S. and China, but there's real military aggressions as well. Is this a concern for the Army?
It is. We have looked at a couple things from an investment standpoint as well as our operating concept. The Army had, for over 40 years, had an operating concept business model of what we call air-land battle. And we're in the process of developing what we call multi-domain operations. So you would still have those air-land components, domains of combat that we would fight together as a joint force, but adding cyberspace and space. So this is going to change the way we do business, coupled with the Army network as our investment priority, laying in over $20 billion across the 5-year Future Defense Plan. So substantial investment, and coupled with a new enterprise data strategy and how we'll protect our information.
So tell me about that, because technology is really critical here. And a lot of countries are using AI, and many people say that they're ahead of the U.S. in terms of AI. Are we using AI within the military? How would you characterize technology in the U.S. Army?
So we developed an artificial intelligence task force. We're tying in with some world-class academic outlets as well as companies. But a lot of the challenge with AI is as much cultural conditioning of how we will use that in our operating model, as well as the technologies that we'll invest against. AI will be, quite frankly, the technology that will change warfare in the future. And whoever gets there first will dominate. And
do you feel like you have the tools needed to become number one?
We're putting our best and brightest forward. We're investing substantially, and it will be a priority for us in the future.
All right, before you go, real quick, in terms of the priorities for the U.S. Army today.
Readiness, it'll always be number one. We have 180,000 troops deployed in over 140 countries. We're in our 17th year of sustained combat operations in the Middle East. So we will always be focused there to put our men and women in the best position they can when they deploy, but substantial moves in modernization and more coming here in the near future.
Secretary, it's great to have you on the program. Thanks so much.